The Xia Dynasty, a name that sounds like a legend, is the origin of ancient Chinese civilization. Known as the first dynasty in the history of the country of 1 billion people, the Xia Dynasty is not only an important milestone in the process of national formation, but also a mysterious and fascinating story, attracting generations of researchers. Although the existence of the Xia Dynasty is still a controversial topic in the academic world, the legends surrounding this dynasty are full of mystery, from the water control of King Wu Dawang to its decline through rebellions and power struggles. These stories are not only deeply engraved in the hearts of the Chinese people, but also become lessons about loyalty, strength, and fairness in a young but decisive dynasty. The Xia Dynasty, with its strong marks in history books and folklore, is the cradle of the long-lasting civilization that China is proud of today. But do you know that among all that brilliance, there are also dark areas that have not been deciphered, making the story of Ha always an unsolved problem in human history? The Xia Dynasty, according to legend, began around 2070 BC and lasted until 1600 BC, or about 470 years. It is considered the first dynasty of China, marking the transition from the legendary period to the actual historical period. Although historical records of the Xia Dynasty are mainly derived from historical works such as Sima Qian's Records of the Grand Historian and History of the Great Song, these documents are mainly based on legends and folk tales. Therefore, the verification of the existence of the Xia Dynasty remains a matter of debate. Legend has it that the Xia Dynasty was founded by its first king, King Wu, who was famous for his efforts in controlling floods. During this period, the lands of China often encountered major floods, causing heavy damage to people's lives. Wu, who was only a general at the time, was assigned to lead the flood control effort. Instead of simply building dikes like his predecessor Xia Xian, Wu adopted the method of unblocking rivers, allowing floodwaters to be dispersed into large rivers and released into the sea. This process was carried out over a period of 13 years without Wu returning home. Wu is also said to have crossed 3 great mountains and 7 rivers to complete the task. This story not only emphasizes Wu's talent, but also demonstrates his patience and great sacrifice, as well as the importance of regulating nature in ancient Chinese culture. In the end, Wu succeeded in overcoming the flood. Wu's achievements in improving the irrigation situation have made him a legendary figure in Chinese history. He was crowned emperor, establishing the Xia Dynasty, the beginning of the feudal monarchy in China. The Xia Dynasty is considered to have begun with the reign of Yu Dai and lasted through many generations of successive emperors. The Xia Dynasty established a centralized political system, marking the formation of the first dynasty. Under the leadership of Yu Dai and his successors, the Xia Dynasty created an administrative apparatus to govern the country. The Xia kings often entrusted administrative tasks to officials and generals, especially in the construction of irrigation systems and the maintenance of social order. Society during the Xia Dynasty had a clear stratified structure. The king at the top, known as the Son of Heaven, had absolute power. The officials and generals were the aristocracy, assisting the king in running the country. Below were the peasants, who were primarily responsible for agricultural production, providing food for society. The peasants were the main labor force and were often burdened with taxes and corvée labor. The lowest layer of society were the slaves, who worked on construction projects and served the higher classes. The economy of the Xia Dynasty was mainly based on agriculture. The irrigation works built by Yu Dai created favorable conditions for cultivation and improved agricultural productivity. Rice and wheat were the main crops, while livestock and poultry provided food and raw materials for daily life. In addition to agriculture, the Xia Dynasty also focused on developing handicrafts, such as pottery, bronze casting, and metalworking. Bronze objects, especially ritual objects and weapons, reflect the development of bronze casting techniques during this period. Construction works such as temples, tombs, and dike systems are also important cultural imprints of the dynasty. The culture of the Xia Dynasty was mainly based on beliefs and rituals, especially the worship of ancestors and natural gods. These beliefs had a great influence on later dynasties in Chinese history. Archaeological remains from this period reveal a fairly developed material culture, with pottery, bronzes, and architecture bearing the hallmarks of an early civilization. After Yu the Great, the Xia Dynasty was succeeded by his son, Qi, who is said to have continued his father's policies and maintained the stability of the dynasty. However, the rule of the Xia Dynasty kings varied greatly, with some kings becoming notorious for their brutality and corruption. King Ji Wang, the last king of the Xia Dynasty, is one of the most famous historical figures for his tyranny and extravagance. According to legend, King Ji ruled with an iron fist, causing resentment among the people and discontent among officials. He corrupted the moral and political values established by previous kings, leading to the decline of the Xia Dynasty. The Xia Dynasty was eventually overthrown by the Shang Dynasty, a successor dynasty founded by King Tang Wang. King Tang defeated King Jie in a great battle and ended the Xia Dynasty, marking a transition of power in Chinese history. Another legend about the fall of the Xia Dynasty involves spells and curses. Some ancient histories say that before the fall of the Xia Dynasty, the gods predicted the decline of the dynasty through strange phenomena and mythical curses. The people and fortune tellers of that period also predicted that the prosperity of the Xia Dynasty would not last forever, and that a new dynasty would replace it. The collapse of the Xia Dynasty was not only the result of invasions and civil wars, but also the people's loss of confidence in the dynasty when the dynastic forces could not maintain power. One of the major problems in the study of the Xia Dynasty is the lack of clear archaeological evidence for its existence. Classical historical documents describe the Xia Dynasty, but there is little concrete archaeological evidence to confirm these events. However, in recent years, archaeologists have discovered a number of sites and artifacts that may be related to the Xia Dynasty. One of the notable sites is the Aito archaeological site in Shanxi province, where traces of an ancient civilization have been discovered. These findings help support the hypothesis that the Xia Dynasty may have existed during a certain period in Chinese history, although the exact events and historical figures of this dynasty have not been confirmed. The Aito archaeological site is located in Aito County, Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, China. This is one of the archaeological sites that has been studied quite a lot in recent years, especially after the discovery of important relics and artifacts related to the pre-Xia and Xia cultures. The discoveries at Aito have suggested many hypotheses about the existence and culture of the Xia Dynasty. The connection between the Aito archaeological site and the Xia Dynasty is mainly based on some archaeological and cultural hypotheses. The Xia Dynasty, according to ancient documents such as the records of the Grand Historian and legends, is considered to be the first dynasty of China, about 2070 BC to 1600 BC. Some of the relics discovered at the Aito archaeological site may reflect an early Chinese culture, possibly related to the formation of the Xia Dynasty. For example, the pottery artifacts, stone tools, and some metal objects at the Aito archaeological site may reflect the development of agricultural and tool-making culture, characteristics that ancient historical records attribute to the Xia civilization. The existence of metal relics, such as bronze and iron, also suggests the possibility of technical and technological developments during the Xia period. Some researchers have suggested that the Aito area may have been part of an early settlement area related to the Xia Dynasty. The architectural works discovered at Aito show a fairly complex settlement system, with structures that may be associated with ancient cities or centers of power of early dynasties. However, there is no solid evidence that the Aito area was the capital or center of power of the Xia Dynasty. This remains a hypothesis, and further research is needed to clarify it. The study of the Aito archaeological site may provide important opportunities for a better understanding of the development of Chinese civilization and early cultures, possibly helping to shed light on the early stages of the Xia Dynasty and pre-Xia cultures. The Xia Dynasty, though shrouded in myth and lacking in authentic archaeological evidence, was an important cornerstone in the formation of ancient China. As the first dynasty in Chinese history, the Xia not only left behind legendary stories of King Yu and his legendary flood control, but also symbolized the first trials in building a unified and powerful civilization. Although the dynasty eventually collapsed under the oppression and corruption of its last kings, the legacy it left behind is undeniable. From its governing principles, to its cultural values, to its political doctrines that have been passed down through the generations. The Xia Dynasty, with all its glories and failures, lives on in the Chinese consciousness, an indispensable part of the country's thousands of years of history. Although it may not be completely clear, the story of the Xia remains an important part, reflecting the birth and development of Chinese civilization.